Alright, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start this lesson off by giving all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to all the brothers who are still fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere Akwath, and Shalom to all these scattered Israelites who are amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathen nations. And in particular, shalom to the hopeful elect of the Israelites who are scattered amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathens. Now this is going to be a quick lesson through the Spirit, just based on the fact that, things are are still very hostile and tense in regards to this Iran war. Just because there's a temporary quote unquote ceasefire doesn't mean that it's over. So through the Spirit, I'm going to read some of this article, get some precepts, and Lord's will, you're edified. It says Trump threatens action if Tehran fails to comply with deal. It says U.S. President Donald Trump, writing on social media, says that all U.S. ships, aircraft, and military personnel will remain in place around Iran until the real agreement on a ceasefire is fully complied with, warning of more conflict otherwise. Lebanon has declared a day of mourning after a wave of Israeli attacks killed more than 200 people and injured more than 1,000 in a single day on Wednesday. Yeah, so things are still very hostile, Things may have calmed down a little bit, but at any moment things can get active again. And that's because we are in a time of war. Ecclesiastes 3:1, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Then jump down to verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace. And we're clearly in a time of war. And, Trump is like, if Iran doesn't, meet the, doesn't fully meet the terms of the ceasefire, then, the military strikes will just start again. And to be honest, those Iranians, they're not scared, So it's like, as far as they're concerned, it just is what it is. So, we'll see how the Lord plays this out. But we know that this whole war started ultimately because the Heavenly Father is a man of war. Exodus 15:3. The Lord Yahweh is a man of war. The Lord Yahweh is his name. And that's right. The Heavenly Father is a man of war. That's why this whole conflict, war, whatever you want to call it, started in the first place. And ultimately, because this is going to be the conflict that puts the world fully into World War III. Because the U.S. is already in it, but the rest of the world has to get pulled into it. Right now, it's really a war between the U.S. and Iran. But the rest of the world is going to get dragged into it, and that's what's going to make it a world war. And that's going to happen soon. But there are a few prophecies that have to come to pass before that, such as, the most important one is the mark of the beast being implemented. That chip, that charagma that Esau is going to implant in people. Once that starts being implemented here, then the Lord is going to allow World War III to go full blown. And then those nukes are going to fly, and America is going to get erased off the face of the earth. And what a beautiful time that will be. But that's why those of us of the hope elect, we got to stay upon our watch. We have to stay circumspect, and we have to stay prayed up. Because, we are in the most dangerous time for the world. Because these are the last days. And a lot of chaotic, deadly, dangerous, destructive things are about to take place. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up here. In closing, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakudash, the water Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, for putting his spirit on me to do this lesson. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Honors to our brothers who are still fervently preaching the word in sincerity and in faith. Shalom to all the sincere Akwath, and shalom to all the hopeful elect Israelites that are scattered amongst these heathen nations and look like these heathen nations. I hope you all stay strong, stay safe, stay fervent, stay circumspect, stay prayed up. And Adawan Ratazah. Till next time, Shalom.